The one of one is missing.
I knew something was up.
Pop, that's almost twice as much going for the same price.
I just freaking love that rated rookie logo.
Doing more buy-ins.
Which one of these 5 quarterbacks has the worst set of pass catchers to throw the football to?
Guess how much I sniped this for an auction?
Number to 5, you dirty animal.
I'm telling you, these optic on-card autos are money.
Let's freaking go, baby. His name is Andy. My name is Carter. All a part of the No Off Season Sports Card Network. We have Gold Standard out now, and it's already going absolutely positively ridiculous right now, Andy. And, well, Gold Standard, I know I wouldn't even put that in my top 5 sets. I don't even know if I'd put it in my top 10 sets. But, Andy, there are rookies in pro uniforms, including our patron saint, Jayden Daniels.
Yeah, you never quite know how it's going to shake out with Marvin Harrison Jr. in the lawsuit against Fanatics, and then you have all the Fanatics exclusive athletes and the Topps composite products. But yeah, we do have your new best friend here from LSU, Jayden Daniels. Am I face frozen already?
Wait, are we froze?
We normally don't get frozen until like 45 minutes in. This is ridiculous.
Now I have to do the show just like this.
Still froze. Are you frozen too, Carter? I lost Carter. Carter. I'm moving. Oh, this live stream's going great.
I actually was never froze.
What? Oh my God. Are you serious? You held that pose that long?
I was actually never froze. I just wanted to make you, I didn't want you to freeze every episode and me not ever freeze. No, I just stood still that whole time. Did you really think I was still froze?
I really thought you were frozen. I'm like, I lost Carter. I've lost the internet. Carter's frozen doing something like some Macarena dance over there.
Forget YouTube. I'm becoming a mime. That's my new goal in life. But Gold Standard is gold, right?
Gold Standard is gold right now for 2024 rookies. Yeah, they've got some nice patches. They've also got a lot of serial numbered cards. And, you know, gold goes well with the Commanders colors pretty much throughout the set here. Like, look at this out of 10, which almost has it does have green and white in the trim here. That closed last night or actually today in auction for $510 for Jayden Daniels.
You know what's really interesting about that card, Andy, is this is probably the worst photo I've ever seen of a card. I mean, look. It's on the bed. You could see the bed bugs and lice and infestation in the middle of this Motel 6. I mean, look at this. And, oh, God, I thought for sure when people take photos like that, you're going to get a big old foot in it. But no foot involved. Some dirty thumbnail mixed in there. But $510 on a crappy photo. And, Andy, I would say this card, even if Jayden does become like Mahomes, right? This card probably 2 years from now is, I'm guessing, a $200 card.
Yeah, at that at best. I think the person, they've got to get it graded to try and maintain the value now, because eventually it will go down a lot, you know. Especially because it's not a true gold parallel. I mean, it's some gold foil in the background, but gold standard, although it does have gold in the name, is not a true chrome finish card. It's like a thick foil finish card. And that's why, in the hierarchy of sets, in the set rankings, gold standard is actually pretty far down the list. I mean, I'd put it somewhere, similar to like a Donruss Elite type of set, or even like a Panini Zenith type of set that comes out. And for some of these players, it'll retain some value, like the rookie autos and the rookie patch autos that are serial numbered. But these non-auto cards are definitely set up to lose money a year or two from now. It's debatable, though, if you can flip them now, because Jaden is a rookie, and right now this is his top card in the market besides Luminance, which just dropped. But if you look at Luminance, he's still in the LSU uniform.
Right.
So I go back to the gold standard because he's in the Commander's uniform here with that rookie card shield, and newly minted here, like this out of 75 that sold for 300 today, and to buy it now, I mean, that's a huge transaction.
Yeah, for sure. I do love the 3-color patch of that card, and the holes in the jersey number right there. You got to freaking love it. So, I've been getting a lot of questions about this, Andy, not only on here, but shout out to my PHL Power Hour LSU folks who have some Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors stuff. Do they move these kind of cards now? I would absolutely say yes, as there will be more sets that come out now. And obviously Jaden and Malik played as good a games as you could expect from a rookie this past weekend. I would also talk about what Bob and Don and some others in the chat have brought up. The college uni cards, especially those Leaf unlicensed autos. I need to not be lazy and move some of mine so I can move into some bigger Jaden and Malik stuff. So I would seriously consider moving those types of cards as well.
Yeah, you got to. When you got non-serial numbered Sage auto, it doesn't indicate it's a rookie card. It's unlicensed, the whole 9 yards. You can get $40, $50 plus for those, because if this is what the non-autoed Sage for Malik Neighbors auto is going for 45, the ones that are more rare, if there's any Leaf ones that are numbered out of 4 or 5, wild cards numbered out of 4 or 5, you could easily get 100 plus for those right now. And that is very uncommon, if doable at all, down the road next year.
Yeah. So definitely with the gold standard stuff, I'll be honest. I just don't like gold standard. I just don't. Like, I understand the value of getting a box and ripping right now is actually pretty high because the rookies have started off so hot. So there's a lot of value, even obviously in the non-auto cards, as we showed you. I just can't bring myself to doing that, just because that's just not who I am, right? I'm not really the guy that does that, right? Even Brock Bowers right there, coming off an iffy performance, 32.99. Obviously, I thought that was going to be a little bit higher, but this is a buy it now, obviously. So, very interesting times if you are a gold standard fan. So, in the chat, if you're watching this live or if you're watching this down the road, let us know if you like gold standard. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Braylon Allen was a player that I wanted to talk about today as well. You already have him flash up on the screen right here. Super young running back, just backing up the best running back in the AFC. Could you imagine, Andy, if Braylon Allen was on a different team?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's already got the standalone value because he's been pretty efficient in his offense, and they're leaning on the run game a lot to help Rodgers out. So he's got the standalone value. I think he's in a good spot just because he's on the Jets. I mean, I don't see them making it too deep in the playoffs, but Rodgers, he could be clutch. So, you never know, but I think that's where his value could spike. But yeah, long-term, Braylon Allen gets a new team, then or Breece Hall, they can't afford to bring him back, and they decide to extend Braylon Allen on the Jets, and Breece Hall walks in free agency. I could see that as well. And the Braylon Allen stock goes way up. But by that point, a plain green napkin patch gold standard out of 149 that sold for, I don't know, $150 or so. is going to be worth like $30 by that point. So, I mean, 30, $40 maybe if he's still playing at a high level. You want to have sold that, you want to flip most of these rookies now. And like, I think taking the patch quality is a big thing, like Carter, these patches here on the Brock Bowers, the Braylon Allen, and the Malik Neighbors, they all stink, man. There's no colors, no stitching.
None.
That kind of just bothers me, especially when it's not really truly player worn or game worn, and you have no colors or stitching in the patches. I'm like, I mean, it's just, and plus you've seen me cut one open and it was even the wrong player. So,
So this is what's really interesting to me, Andy, and we'll talk more about the rookies coming up. All right. I want you right now. Can you do this off the top of your head? All right. Can you name the 3 0-3 teams in the NFL?
Yeah, one of them's the Bengals.
Okay.
One of them's the Bengals. One of them's I almost said the Dallas Cowboys, but they're 1-2, right?
Yeah.
They're 1-2. The Giants are not 0-3.
They're not.
No, man. The Giants are not 0-3. I think of the bad teams that were 0-2. So the Broncos, we all thought they were going 0-3, and they got off to a hot start against the Bucs and rolled there.
So this is a stat for you, Andy, and this is why this conference is going to be more fascinating this year. There's not a single NFC team that's 0-3, not a single one. All right.
But did you ask me specifically NFC?
No, I said.
Or you just asked NFL? Period.
There are no 0-3 teams in the NFC, and I like that. I really, really, really do. Okay, the 3 0-3 teams: the Bengals, the Jaguars,
yeah,
and the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
Okay? So this question was brought to me by a Discordian in the FB card chat. Once again, everyone that signs up from this first stream, I got your first month covered. Go sign up today, patreon.com/football cards. Andy, all 3 of those teams have quarterbacks that have had some interest in the hobby. Obviously, Will Levis not as much as Trevor Lawrence and Joe Burrow. What do you do from a football card perspective for those 3 players?
Yeah, and I got this question on Sunday in the members only live stream.
Okay.
Just clarify, go to footballcardquest.com. Click that little Go Premium on the top if you want to get there. But I did live stream on Sunday before the games for members only, and I had this question using Bryce Young as an example, who got benched. But if he didn't get benched, the Panthers were probably going 0-3. Now they're 1-2 thanks to Andy Dalton. But yeah, so I got this question: what do you do with Bryce Young, Will Levis? What do you do with these guys? Do you use this as an opportunity to buy low into them now, or do you wait and or do you not get in at all? Is it too risky? And I think their prices continue to go down because of the start they got off to here. I look at their prices going down as far as like some of the deep backups in the league. So look at the price of the Prism Silver for Aiden O'Connell. The bottom for that card, it should be around $10 to $20 right now. That's what it was before the season started. I don't foresee why it would have moved. But you look at that value of that, and you say, okay, if these guys start their Prism Silver Raw gets to $10 to $20, PSA 10 gets to $40 or $50 or lower, that Prism Silver is a great entry-level card. If their rookie ticket autos get to under $100, I'd preferably like to see you get them raw around 50 to 60. They're not quite there yet. I think they keep going down as people continue to sour on them and the team. And then we hit the bottom of the what we call the mid-season lull, and that's going to be at the end of November, and we're not there yet. So I think you got to continue to wait, let those hit the bottom. If you want to get some exposure, that's fine because you have minimal risk at that point. You bought in at the absolute bottom, and so your risk is very low. The upside is mid, I think mid still, because at this point, unfortunately, we have a pretty decent sample size, and these guys appear to be busts Carter. But what say you? Do you think these guys are truly busts?
Yeah, well, obviously, I think Burrow's going to turn it around. It might not be this year. They might just have to punt till next year. Bengals are a good example of when you hit on Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, but basically miss on every other draft pick, it's going to catch up to you, especially in the AFC North. But Will Levis, he really wasn't ever any good in college. He just wasn't. And he's taking a lot of sacks, and he just does not look good really at all right now. And you add on to the fact, Trevor Lawrence, Andy, I mean, people can go back and look at all our live streams. Justin Fields was my number one quarterback in that draft class. I wasn't really in love with any of them. I kind of talked myself into Zach Wilson for a little bit, but quickly got off that train. And I've always thought Trevor was just overvalued, right? And you factor in the supply of his rookie cards. There's just so much stuff out there. So, yeah, I know they have Brian Thomas, who I like a lot. Obviously, they still have good weapons, but there might be an opportunity to buy low on Trevor because, Andy, obviously, I don't think Doug Peterson's going to be brought back, and I do think the team that would have the highest likelihood of getting Bill Belichick would be the Jaguars, right? So let's just say Jaguars hire Bill Belichick. They're obviously stuck with Trevor at this point. What do Trevor cards do with the Belichick news? They probably go up, right?
Yeah.
So there could be a really good buy low opportunity. Or if it's someone like Ben Johnson, who's known for being a really, really good play caller, would Ben Johnson want to leave the Lions to go be the coach for the Jaguars? Ownership means a lot to Ben Johnson. So if that's the case, Khan is a good owner. I don't think anyone has anything negative to say about him the same way that they do the Teppers. So I do think the Jaguars would be a semi-interesting landing spot because I do think there's coaches out there that still value Trevor's skill set. So to me, I do think there will be a buy low opportunity if the Jaguars keep sinking, which I think they will do.
Yeah, and I think there's a couple things that I'm fading from 2021 in Trevor Lawrence market, and that is PSA 9s or lower, or CGC 9s, or any major grading companies 9s or lower, because for Trevor, it really is about grade chasing on his premium cards. So I'm fading sets like Select unless they're rookie autos from Trevor. And I'm also fading anything that's a 9 or lower because unfortunately that was literally like 90% of his cards when they converted from raw to being graded, they all came in at 9s or lower. And so there's a big price disparity between the raw, the 9s, and then the 10s. And so really what you're after for Trevor Lawrence is to get your hands on a 10. Get your hands on a Prism Silver 10, even a base Prism 10 or a rated rookie 10 or even a rookie ticket auto 10. If you could get one of those for, let's say, $300 or lower, that is a really, really favorable price. Now, if you can get his Prism Silver PSA 10 for $100 or lower, that's fantastic as well because the grade rate is so low. So I think they're going to keep going down here, Carter. And we're not at the bottom yet, man. We're not at the bottom yet for Trevor. That's my prediction here. This start for them, especially in the division that they're in. The schedule they have is not easy. They play the Texans this upcoming week in Houston, another divisional matchup. Texans got to be frustrated with the loss this past week in Minnesota. They're looking to bounce back, get right. I think the Texans roll at home here, and it just gets worse for Trevor.
Which of those 3-0-3 teams do you think has the highest chance of making the playoffs?
Oh man, yeah, I don't think any way and no way that it's the Titans or the Jags here. It's got, I don't know. It's got to be the Bengals. I think it's pretty easy. I mean, that was a trick question.
So the 2-3-0 teams in the NFC, Andy, both have veteran quarterbacks whose careers did not get off to a fine start. That is Geno Smith with the Seattle Seahawks we have always been big Geno fans, right? He was such a heavy play for us leading into last year. Just needed some better coaching, which he's gotten this year. Geno's been the perfect fit for the Ryan Grubb vertical offense. You see DK Metcalf doing DK Metcalf things, Andy. That's always good to see. And then you also have my personal friend, Chad, the record store, Dyer, and it's Sam Darnold, Minnesota Vikings. I love when these veteran quarterbacks pop up because it makes the rookie card market for them to be interesting. Obviously, Geno being a 2013 guy. And what year was Sam Darnold in the NFL draft? That was 2014 or 2015, either one. I'm loving him.
Darnold?
Man.
You mean Geno?
No. Okay, Geno was 2013.
Geno was 2013.
Yeah.
Darnold was 2018.
2018, okay. I always love when veteran rookie card markets just go up just for the sake of going up.
Yeah, the interesting thing, Geno is not at his career high. When he made his career resurgence 2 years ago, his values were actually higher than this. So you see some latest from his rookie ticket auto. And this is the thing, like he hasn't had a bunch of sales. Like I looked up his rookie ticket auto. These are from September 8th, September 22nd. You know, so he's playing like okay, but he's not playing great. I would say, Carter, from like looking at the stats and watching a portion of the game, I noticed he still threw 2 interceptions, and it's like he's playing okay, and they're winning games. Their defense is playing really well, and they've got incredible skill players. Like your boy Zach Charbonnet went off in this game, and DK got fed. But look at this. I mean, like a top strata rookie auto red out of 25 for $25. I mean, it doesn't, take much to figure out that this is still very undervalued if the Seahawks are the playoff team out of the NFC West here this year. And so far, it looks like they may be like through 3 games, through 3 solid matchups. I mean, this team has looked really good, just top to bottom. I really like the way they're playing, and I know you studied the film and you like the way that they're calling plays, and you've been a fan of their new head coach. So, I think there's definitely potential in Geno Smith. It's lagging behind because of his veteran status. You know,
one thing I'm going to do, Andy, and I know I look at the NFL very deeply, right? That's why I have Power Hour NFL. That's why NoOffSeason.com brought me on in their network. Shout out Paul Hickey. You want to know what's really fascinating is Brock Purdy, to me, played one of his best games as a pro this past weekend. All right. But the 49ers are 1-2. And I'm going to be really paying attention to his cards, right? Because I really do think Brock played well this weekend. So did Jawan Jennings. So let's talk some Jawan Jennings. I've always loved his auto, and he goes ham over the weekend.
Yeah, I want to ask you: is he the new Brandon Ayuk? What's going on with Brandon Ayuk since the contract extension? He's turned into a bump on the log. Jawan Jennings was playing out of his mind on Sunday, even though they didn't quite get the win. Jawan Jennings went off with Purdy, and you could see his auto his rookie card market from 2020 is very limited. So once again, the main focus that people want is a rookie ticket auto. So the non-serial numbered wild card ticket autos are selling for $75 and a buy it now. And you guys know we could do the lowest to see how low they were. They weren't quite as low as Jordan Mason, but these were $10 to $20 cards before the season. And now look at them; they've gone up 6-7x. So
yeah, obviously I would stay away from buying, but definitely, this was a sun run for Jawan Jennings. I would definitely look into moving his stuff right now with the no Debo and obviously unhealthy Kittle. But Andy, I've always liked Jawan Jennings. And, if the 49ers would have actually won the Super Bowl last year, he had low-key some Super Bowl MVP opportunities, right, with how well he played. But this is another example of having a very limited supply of like a deeper cut rookie. He's just a good football player, right? Even his Tennessee uniforms. I mean, the Volunteers were horrendous during his time there, people are still interested in getting that absolutely positively beautiful penmanship on these cards. Also love that he still does wear the jersey number 15 for the 49ers. So I am very happy that we're seeing Jauan Jennings. I've always kind of liked him, high school quarterback who immediately switched to receiver. But going back to the initial Brock Purdy point along with Jauan Jennings, I mean, Purdy looks like ridiculous, like absolutely ridiculously good right now without Debo and Kittle. It really showed me something going up against a Rams team that's always been one of the sexiest matchups in the NFL, Rams and 49ers. So I become a bigger Brock Purdy fan, and I'm looking forward to seeing him potentially digging the 49ers out of the hole. And look, I have been anti-Purdy for so long, right? I was one of his biggest skeptics. And I do think it was the environment that was winning him a lot of the games. But now he's played so much football, overcame a lot this past weekend versus the Rams. And now their defense isn't unbelievable. They don't have Aaron Donald anymore. But still, I was very, very, very impressed. And maybe this year, with all the injuries, 49ers lose Hargrave, McCaffrey is in a completely different country. Maybe, just maybe, it's Brock that digs him out of this hole. And I'm interested to see what his cards will do in the dichotomy, Andy, of a quarterback on a winning team versus a quarterback who's playing the best he's played, but the team isn't winning. I'm interested to see what's going to happen with his cards.
Yeah, I think ultimately he's a playoff play at this point. I mean, you're one of those guys, if you bought Brock Purdy, you paid in a pretty healthy price, unless you bought in before the season last year,
right,
when it was uncertain if he was even going to play. When they had, I think it was Sam Darnold on their roster and backup, when Darnold was threatening him for the starting job there, but ultimately Brock Purdy took it down. So it's like, unless you bought in then you've already flipped for profit during the playoff cycle last year. If you're bought in any point in this offseason or now, then you're probably holding, right? Because you look at his Panini Black out of 199, 335, or the Panini Honors 421. This PSA 8 too, so it's like raw card. Look at something a little bit more notable, like his base rookie ticket auto that's sold in the buy now yesterday for 670, or an encased rookie auto out of 5 for 1,288 in auction last night.
That card is beautiful.
Yeah, man, really nice on-card rookie auto there for that encased, and it's just, man, that does look like a really clean card and sealed in the one touch. So the seller did a great job with that one and capitalized nicely. You could see there's still a potential upside in Purdy's prices, but it's going to be a playoff play at this point, in my opinion.
All right, Andy, the last specific player that I want to talk about here is Justin Fields. Okay. Pittsburgh is 3-0. And this is, once again, the difference, right? If the difference in being a quarterback on a winning team compared to actually playing well on a team that might be 1-2 or 2-1, right? So it was interesting because I saw a pretty big Justin Fields collector legit start fire selling a lot of his super rare stuff. And I know he is sick to his stomach knowing what has happened up to this point. So obviously we talked about Trevor Lawrence. He's on 3. Justin Fields, he's 3-0. Andy, your thoughts on Fields in his market as the starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Fields is selling like hotcakes, but just like Trevor Lawrence, I mean, Fields got a lot of product. There was a lot of redemptions that came back for Justin Fields that all got actually redeemed. And so when that happened, there's a ton of additional rookie autos that flooded the market for Justin Fields. And so that process took over a year after he had already lost considerable amount of value. So you still to this day have Justin Fields rookie ticket autos transacting at $135. This is down big time from when they were at their peak, when he was rushing for 188 yards a game for a period there with Chicago. And, there's still upside in Justin Fields cards, even though they're transacting like crazy. If you buy a rookie ticket auto for $135, you're still buying in much lower than Trevor Lawrence. There's a lot of people that aren't convinced that this job is just going to be snatched away from him as soon as Russell Wilson is healthy. I don't even know if Russell Wilson may be healthy now. They're just not changing the injury report so they don't create a bigger snooze story out of it, and it's like easy for them to just keep going along with the fact that Wilson's injured and that's why Fields is starting. But I mean, they're now 3-0. I don't see them taking this job from him anytime soon. I mean, I know he threw a pick this past week, but he also threw some really good passes when it needed to happen and got the game win. It was a tough matchup.
Yeah, look, Fields is very flawed, right? As is every quarterback in that class, apparently. But man, I should have bought low, man. I thought about it because, look, Russell Wilson, there's a lot of ego mixed into that situation. You brought up a very interesting point. Maybe he is healthy and, to stroke Russell's ego, they could just continue on saying, hey, he's still coming back, but we're going to stick with old Justin Fields here. It's very interesting, that situation. Obviously, Tomlin's a Hall of Fame head coach. It's some of the best work he's done as a head coach. They've had some very favorable matchups. Justin Herbert and the Chargers obviously really banged up, as they are every single year. So it is an interesting situation. And this would be my big question, and it ties into Hobby Tip of the Week. Hobby Tip of the Week every week. Thanks to our friends at nooffseason.com and CGCcards.com. We always talk about the beginning of the season hype train. Normally, Andy, it's after 4 or 5 weeks we begin to see prices begin to stagnate and or dip, as a lot of people do move towards basketball. Andy, do you expect the same thing this year? And if so, is it time for some people to seriously consider moving some of their cards?
Oh yeah, I can already start to sense it a little bit.
Yeah,
I think that's part of the reason why we didn't see exponentially larger spikes in guys like Justin Fields over the past weekend. But I get it. There's a lot of people that are very hesitant about quarterback prospecting right now on young quarterbacks. Even guys like Sam Darnold. Yes, Darnold has gone up a lot. But if you compare him to where Josh Allen's at, there's an ocean of a difference there. Even Lamar Jackson, there's a sea of a difference between Sam Darnold and Lamar Jackson. So I see people, buying here and there on quarterback prospecting, but I would try and offload as much of these hyped up guys if you've got that profit margin that you're trying to obtain, which is, typically I think somewhere, I guess depending on how much you invested, like that double up type range, then this is a good time, because we may see, Carter, with the lower scoring and the defensive battles that we've seen this year. I mean, you're seeing it week in and week out. Some of these games are super low scoring. Now, Bengals Commanders was not one of those last night. But, I mean, look at what the Bills did to the Jags. Whew. And then there's just a lot of, look at the Saints-Eagles game. We thought that was going to be one of the higher scoring games. And then the Cardinals went to sleep this week, So it's like we thought, so it's like it's these cat and mouse battles, man. And some of these turn into real grinders. And I think it's just not as exciting and flashing and 60 plus touchdowns each week. And you've got Sam Darnold leading the NFL in touchdowns. It started off as a pretty odd season, I think, in a lot of ways. And so, I would take advantage of this, Carter. Like in terms of selling on this new early season hype, because it's going to continue to accelerate throughout the week right now for Darnold, Josh Allen and stuff, these 3-0 guys, Justin Fields, as we get into week 4 here.
Yeah, I'm in that same boat, Andy. I have some Breece Hall higher end stuff here. I'm thinking about moving now. I wish I would have held on to a few more Kyler stuff because he's looked really good up to this point. But man, I would recommend you seriously consider doing the same. And my heaviest buying, heavier than any other time for football cards, is in that November area, right? So I'll move some stuff now, build a little bit of a bankroll, and start buying in November when it's Thanksgiving, Christmas time, money goes elsewhere. People are trying to get some money, selling desperately. That's always been my playbook, Andy, and it's always worked out for me better off than not, right? So seriously, consider it. But you don't have to. Once again, have fun with whatever you want to do with football cards. Um, let's take a few questions here. Hobby tip from Chad Dyer says, send your singles to COMC. It's so easy, Andy.
Agreed. Especially if you have a lot of base level cards, base level parallels. I think it's a phenomenal solution because managing an inventory of base cards here at the house could take you, hours and days to get those all listed. And then you don't want to flood eBay with a ton of inventory of this copies of the same card. You don't want to flood the supply and make it look like there's way more supply and demand than demand. So yeah, send those cards to COMC where you can literally manage your inventory with just a couple clicks. They're still the premier. So we on Sunday, we also did a deep dive on StarStock's eBay store. So if you guys want that, it's up for members only on YouTube. It's up on Patreon. But we did a deep dive into how they're listing, and they're gonna struggle still, I think, Carter. So yeah, interest definitely beneficial for people to check that out because they're doing things still way different. They're doing things their own tune. It's still COMC is still the top online like electronic inventory manager that also has their cards listed on eBay and the actual scans and not an arbitrary grading system. And so, yeah, that's definitely such a clutch because it's also cheaper than a lot of consignments. Like consignments, DC Sports 87, they're not bad. They take a percentage of the overall sale, but you don't want to send them a bunch of base cards because those aren't the cards that people are targeting on their auctions. They're targeting the nicer cards, the more high-end cards, the rookie autos and stuff, the serial numbered cards. And so you want to really maybe consider sending those to some of their auctions because they get so many eyeballs. But COMC is such a great place for all those lower end cards that maybe you didn't sell at the beginning of the season. You don't really want to manage the inventory of them. Send them to COMC, list them there.
Footballcardquest.com, all a part of the nooffseason.com network. While Andy fixes a freeze here again, let's go to Jonathan. And you are right, Tim. DC auctions everything. DC Sports 87. At least every time I look at them, it doesn't look like they have any buy it now stuff. I do check their stuff pretty often because I am a sucker for combined shipping. So there you go. Jonathan says, would you sell a Josh Allen Spectra patch number 4? Now I don't know what the number 4 means. I'm guessing it is numbered to 4. I don't think you're referencing the card number being 4. But yeah, I would seriously consider it. Is it a rookie Spectra patch? I'm also a Spectra collector. You can let me take a look at it. I might buy it off of you. I'll say this about Josh Allen as well. Man, him and Mahomes have just moved into a completely different tier of quarterback up to this point. And I would put Lamar in that tier as well, even though they are 1 and 2. I mean, he's won 2 MVPs. But truth be told, it was close for me, Andy. If I had an MVP vote last year, I probably still would have given it to Josh Allen last year. It was close. I would have been down to him, Mahomes. I mean, not Mahomes, him and Lamar last year. So Josh Allen has never been to a Super Bowl, and on top of that, he's never really beaten Mahomes in the playoffs. He hadn't, and he doesn't have any MVPs. But just using our eyeballs, it is clear to see that this guy is not only one of the best quarterbacks of this era, he's one of the best quarterbacks ever. I'm serious. When you factor in coaching, when you factor in the receivers he's had to play with, I mean, this guy is truly truly transcendent. And there was a lot of people fading the Bills going into the season. And Josh Allen, Andy, every year continues to get it done. So this sounds like a bold take because people think the Chiefs are just so unfreaking believably unbeatable. Josh Allen will eventually go to a Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl in Buffalo. Yes or no to that, Andy?
Wow. He's not getting the DPI calls that Mahomes. Did I say that? Did I just I know we just got canceled by a few Chiefs fans, but I had to say it.
Let's go.
I think he's definitely got that. He's definitely got that in him. And I think there's a lot of like a lot of ghosts in his closet to overcome that. Like he'll get to national championship games all day, but let's see if they can get over the hump on one of them. They just need the ball to bounce their way and maybe a DPI call.
All right, so we'll
Tim
take a
says
few.
it's hurt.
We'll take a few before we get to play of the week. Andy, I bought a BTJ Junior Panini Instant Auto out of 99 as you recommended. Is that still going to do more than the $50 I bought it for now that the gold standard and elites are coming out?
Yeah, I think so. This is going to be viewed as BTJ's first official pro uniform rookie card. And even if the Jags stink, we just need to get some higher target share volumes, get a few more spike games from BTJ here down the stretch, and it'll do just fine because that card does have a nice picture, pro uniform. It's got the auto. A lot of people are looking at that and it's sealed by Panini. So a lot of people are looking at that as his first official rookie auto card. So yeah, it's going to do just fine. I would definitely hold on to that. Plus it's serial numbered out of 99, like you said. Well, actually, I think it's serial numbered out of 49, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
Okay.
all the other ones are out of 49, so it should be out of 49.
Let's go, Steve. Your card just got more valuable just by you asking this question.
Yeah.
By the way, if you want your question answered immediately, if you do super chat, all the funds go to Andy. We'll go straight to it. Roy wants us to talk about RPAs. Well, what about them, Roy? Be a little bit more specific and we'll answer your question. Jonathan, I'm interested in the Josh Allen RPA or the PA that you're talking about. So please send it my way. James says, I joined the stream late. Did we talk about the backup quarterback on the Bengals that was really good last year, led them to an 8-9 record? James is blanking on his name, but where did he go this year, Andy?
Jake Browning?
Yes.
Jake Browning. He's still on the Bengals, isn't he?
No, I think he did. I think he did go somewhere else. Hold on.
I'd have to look that. I could have swore he was still on the Bengals.
No, you're right. He still is on the Bengals.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah.
I guess you just gotta. Look.
He's super cheap.
Yeah. He's solid. Obviously, we saw last year, Andy, what happened to his Washington Huskies cards. They went nuclear. They went Jordan Mason level nuclear. And by the way, that's why you needed to sell your Jordan Masons after the Monday Night Football game. But yes, Jake Browning, I guess, is a buy low opportunity if his stuff got really cheap, and obviously limited supply. So once again, like Chad and many others, do the backup QB thing. Why not? Andy, this could be another opportunity to buy more Drew Lock, right? We can look at what Daniel Jones has done, and yeah, they finally did get themselves a W. And Daniel Jones looked really good this past weekend. Devin Singletary looked really good. And that rookie wide receiver from LSU, whose name slips my mind, who I've never talked about on this channel before, he also looks pretty damn good with Pro Football Focus's #1 man coverage composite beater score. I'm still interested in getting some Drew Locks in my inventory because this offense, let's just say Daniel Jones struggles, it might be QB proof. It might be if Malik Neighbors is out there, your offense very well could be QB proof. And Devin Singletary looks really good. He's got juice, and he also knows the Dayball offense from back to front, going back to their Bills days together. So it's very, very interesting.
This was a game, man. Dayball's like, Jones, if you don't get it done in this game, you're going to the bench. We're bringing Drew in. And Jones finally woke up.
Is it time to bail on Jalen Hurts? Says building time machine.
Is it time to ball? Yeah, I know people are a lot of the interception rate of Jalen Hurts. It continues to climb. Your boy Honey Badger got another one. Well, did he get two? He might have got two. I
Well,
was a
no,
little fevile during the end of that game.
He only got one, but overall, this has been his best statistical season in a while.
Yeah, Honey Badger's been on fire, man.
He's playing really well right now. Yeah.
I'm so torn on Jalen Hurts. I want to transition. If you have, I think this is not a bad strategy, honestly. If you have a lot of Jalen Hurts inventory, his cards are selling well, but his prices are definitely down. You could transition some of his inventory to Saquon Barkley. I mean, this is becoming the soul and the heartbeat of this offense, and Saquon Barkley. I mean, Jalen Hurts is solid, but he continues to show that he's not old. He's just, I'm not sure that his passing game acumen is ever going to be at the level of an elite quarterback. I don't think it is, Carter. I think you and I have talked about his throwing motion, and we know that he's been in football his entire life. So he's good at football, but it's just his passing game. I don't think is ever going to take him to an elite level, even though he's a good game manager.
Andy, I know a decent amount about you. I've been around you for a while, and Jalen Hurts is a quarterback that's made you the most money, correct?
Yes, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I would say between him and Tua.
So why would you bail on the man that has been green for you? He plays for a team that's green. And why would we bail on an Eagles team that's looked fine up to this point? One Saquon drop away from having another W. And on top of all of that, Andy, no A.J. Brown.
Yeah, that's a big factor. I didn't even consider that. No A.J. Brown in the offense. And they lost Devonta Smith to a concussion halfway through the game as well. So it was leaning heavily on Dallas Goedert.
And Lane Johnson got hurt. His protector.
That's huge.
And also, Andy, I don't know if you knew this or not. It's not been a big story in the media, but he also lost his Hall of Fame center. Okay, and he's a nobody. No one's ever heard of this guy before, and he lost this guy, and he's getting used to a new center. All right, tush push has still been effective. Kellen Moore's been mostly good, and Jalen Hurts should be 3-0. He should be 3-0. Okay, and yes, the Saints had an all-time coverage bust on a mesh concept, which was a play he checked into as a man beater. Okay. So look at me, a non-Eagles fan, stepping up here for an Alabama Crimson Tide quarterback. But that's how good Jalen Hurts, to me, has looked up to this point with rocky situations around him, right? I still think the Brazil game was very undervalued in a game where every single one of his players, along with the Packers, were slipping all over the place. So Jalen Hurts has had some weird situations in some weird games this year. I still think he is a very solid quarterback, and the Eagles will be in the playoffs. Okay.
And you had to say that as they're coming to Tampa this weekend to play my Buccaneers.
Oh, is that on the docket for
him? That's this week.
I'm still cutting film studies from this last week's slate. But there you go. Andy, a quarterback who's very popular on this channel is Anthony Richardson. He's looked atrocious up to this point. Okay. The passing is awful. I mean, he's a consistently 50% completion percentage quarterback, lots of interceptions, lots of overthrows. And, I do a lot of Colts content. This is a comment I always get. Well, if you're a Josh Allen fan, Jalen Hurts A-Rich is like Josh Allen. Very raw, limited college sample. But I want everyone to really think, how many Josh Allens have there been? Like guys that weren't good in college and were just nowhere to be found, 3-star recruits. And obviously Josh Allen's start to his career wasn't really all that great. He is such an outlier. right? If you have to use Josh Allen as the example for uh, a Rich here, what other quarterbacks are your examples, right? So I understand that in a perfect scenario, Anthony Richardson, if everything goes according to plan, has the same type of athleticism as a Josh Allen. He can also be a very creative player, and he is a better runner than Josh Allen. But to think that that is absolutely positively going to happen without understanding that it is probably a 1 in a million long shot of that happening, I would be very careful, especially Andy, with how A Rich's prices were in the offseason.
Yeah, absolutely, man. He is the poster child for the mid-season dip here. Unfortunately, he's dropped 3 spots in our hype ranking. Guess who has surpassed Anthony Richardson in daily buy it now eBay sold volume since Sunday?
Oh, so number one obviously is CJ.
Yes.
Okay, but
This
who's
this player has jumped to number 2, and he's actually a 2022 rookie. And it's because his prices started out very cheap.
okay? Hold on, I want to get this.
Massive fan base. Just torched his old team.
All right, who is it? Just say it.
Jonathan's got it. Malik Willis.
What?
Malik Willis has jumped to number 2 right now in the hype index because he had 500 buy it now sold cards yesterday from the performance on Sunday. It's absolutely insane. Malik Willis has gone up a tremendous amount. And the crazy thing is, we're expecting Jordan Love back any week, but that's how good he's played for the Packers. Turnover-free football, rushing the ball, making some good passes when needed. Obviously, really good play calling there from Matt LaFleur. Probably doesn't get enough credit. But, you can kind of see how teams matter, right? And plays can matter because he was terrible for the Titans. We had all written him off. I think all of us. And that's why his cards were so cheap. And then he comes to the Packers here. He looks amazing out there, man. Now 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, remember my bold proclamation before the season was the most fascinating QB division would be the AFC South. And so far it's kind of played out because 3 of those quarterbacks have looked absolutely awful up to this point. But now the NFC North is the sexiest division in football, right? With the Packers and this quarterback thing they have going on. The Lions are the Lions. We know they're good. And then you have Chad Dyer's Minnesota Vikings undefeated. They have Caleb Williams. So I'm very interested to see how the North plays out. And Andy, I'm going to put you on the spot. Who ends up winning the NFC North?
The NFC North, it's got to be the Lions, man.
Oh,
It's got to be the Lions. I get it. Bill Belichick now endorsing Sam Darnold on McAfee show, saying everybody's always loved Darnold except the Jets. Darnold is now one of the faces of the NFL. I get it. Justin Jefferson's amazing. I'll give him that too. There's still a part of me that's expecting Darnold to turn back into a pumpkin. I don't know what it is here, man. I just feel like Darnold's going to fall apart at some point. And I think with the most creative play calling, I think, well, obviously, let me back up because the Vikings are phenomenal. Kevin O'Connell probably deserves to definitely be in contention for coach of the year almost every year. He's an awesome coach. They have incredible play calling. But the Lions, very good as well. I love me some Dan Campbell. Love me their offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, and just their weapons on offense. I mean, look at one of do you see that play they executed that was designed like shallow, a crossing route to Amon St. Brown, who then lateraled it to Jahmyr Gibbs, who ran in a 35-yard touchdown? Like, that was designed. Like, if they're going to design stuff like that, I mean, you can't stop that.
Shout out to Jim H showing love to Matt LaFleur and Ben Johnson. But Andy, you're right. We need, oh God. Protect. Oh God.
Oh, Chicago Bears #1 fan came in. Brad Nolan had me cracking up. O-line 1 in all caps.
So I talked to Brad on the phone. Could you believe he flew in a day early to go to that Texans game on Sunday Night Football? Flew to Houston to go watch that monstrosity. So Brad, a sad Bears fan. I'll go as far as saying the Bears have a bigger issue at head coach, and that will be the sexiest opening to me, more than the Jaguars. Will be the opening in Chicago. What Chicago should do to make it very sexy is go hire Ben Johnson, take him from the
Ooh,
Lions, make it
that's what they need.
make it spicy. All right, it's play of the week time. Once again, shout out to our partners at nooffseason.com and CGC. Andy, gonna get that sub in, maybe CGC.com. All right, Andy, let's see what you got.
Yeah, real quick, I'm just going to shout out CGC. They CGC and JSA are both going to be at Collecticon in Houston on November 2nd and 3rd. So I'll give you guys a heads up on this. They're going to be there accepting submissions.
Okay.
All right. So let me get my play of the week. And this is going to be off the cuff, man, because I really I've been recovering from a pretty nasty virus that I picked up from the kids over the weekend. So I haven't put much thought into this yet, but man, one team that's had a brutal start here, and like I don't even know if this really feels good to go to them, but the Cowboys. I mean, like, can the Cowboys actually be this bad, or can they bounce back here? They have the Giants this Thursday night in New York. This just feels like a great spot for the Cowboys to bounce back. And I think that the best play, the cheapest guy in comparison to the rest of the class that you're going to get right now is Dak Prescott. And I think it's one of those plays where you can get them very cheap. At the same time, you're expecting this team to actually get their season back together and go to the playoffs and actually make something of their season. But the cards are very cheap, and I like it because it's cheaper than guys like Joe Burrow and the Bengals, who still haven't dipped as far as I think that they could potentially. Like Joe Burrow shaping up to be a great November play. Don't get me wrong. But right now, there could be a little island game spike here for some of these Cowboys. And I think I start at the top with Dak Prescott because it seems like CeeDee Lamb is one of those guys who's just gotten super expensive, almost in that Justin Jefferson stratosphere, and hasn't come down much from it. People are really holding on tight to those. But Dak is a guy that people have let go of definitely really cheap here. And I'm looking for some kind of bounce back from America's team here. Island game, Carter. What do you think?
I'm a Dak guy, so I'm with you on that, man. I think Dak is always, seriously undervalued. But, man, their run defense is so bad. And, the first thing every team should do is be able to stop the run. Stop explosive plays, but also be able to stop the run. I mean, they are quite literally the worst run defense you will see. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the Cowboys because I've been such an ardent Dak defender, but I do think they'll bounce back and win big on Thursday Night Football. One of my favorite plays from a betting perspective is Dallas blowing out New York. Buy low on the Cowboys, sell high on the Giants. I really do like Dallas on TNF. Andy, my play of the week is actually a few wide receivers. I think Khalil Shakir is for real. Like, I mean, he's attached to Josh Allen, of course. Rookie ticket autos go anywhere from $20 to $40. That's gone up. And then, obviously, one of my big plays of the week this offseason was Terry McLaurin. And that obviously looks like it's going to pay off now that him and Jaden are starting to develop some chemistry. Now, here's one more for you. Tutu Atwell. Like, I don't think Tutu Atwell's really that good at all. But Matthew Stafford is so good that he throws passes where the receiver can't not catch it, if that makes sense, right? The ball is put on him. Even if there's no separation. Matthew Stafford will fit it in there. And obviously, with Cooper Kupp situation, obviously with the situation involving Puka Nacua, I think Tutu Atwell, if you get it really cheap, I honestly don't think he's any good. But when you're attached to Stafford, I think there could be a big game coming for old Tutu. So there you go. Not
That's
my
always
favorite.
worked out in the past, right? Target target the main wide receiver in the Rams offense attached to Matt Stafford. And that seems to be a winning recipe, even though we don't like to profile Tutu Atwell. I mean, that definitely could be a play. And he's got a nice little supply of rookie ticket autos and different rookie patch autos if you're interested in those. And you can definitely get exposure to pretty cheap.
Yeah, like this morning, Andy, like number 21 Pulsar auto went for $25 out the door. I like that. I mean, those are the kinds of things I'm looking for a recent product in 2021. So, once again, not in love with the player, but the situation is really, really good. Now, we'll take a few more here. Once again, for those that did not know, Andy's been sick. He has been very sick, and we appreciate you, Andy, for all your lovely Football Card Quest viewers for fighting through it.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man.
Sellers Premium is laughing at me, saying that the Cowboys will beat the Giants on Thursday.
I mean, and that's like some super recency bias, and he must be a Giants fan, obviously. But I mean, it's not in the Giants' favor. I mean, the Dallas went to New York last year at the beginning of the season and totally shut them out. And Dallas has got to be hungry at this point for a win. I just think they're going to get outscored. Dallas defense has got to turn things around, like Carter said. I think they're going to be super hungry, come out really, really fighting this week on Thursday night. Whereas New York's coming off of a win. They kind of got, that off of their shoulder. I just don't think they're going to be quite as hungry. So I'm feeling he's a Dallas fan. So Dallas fans are really in a bad way right now.
Woo. Commanders about to win the NFC East. What's up, Wheezy Baby? Wheezy Baby's always in the chat, man, holding it down. Let's see. Andy, I'll let you take the last one. For those that missed it, okay, we did have a pretty legendary moment when Andy thought I was a mime. So make sure you go back and check out the first. I mean, people that don't get it, they're going to be watching this episode on replay and be like, what the hell are they doing? I mean, who are these? You wouldn't have thought that these guys had been doing a show together for years up to this point. But
Paul Hickey might have to edit in on the podcast only version momentarily.
Oh yes, I didn't
No,
I did not think about the audio only version of this because what I thought was going to happen was you were going to start talking, but you weren't talking at all. You just kind of gave up when I was just frozen there.
I thought I lost internet and I thought I lost you. So I'm like, man, should I refresh the whole thing? But if you do that, then it really not kicks me out and I have to sign back in and all this stuff. So I was like, let me give it a second. Maybe it'll come back because I saw my internet dropped and then it came back up. It was weird. So I want to go back to this one about Ray. He said, please talk about RPAs. And then he had a comment somewhere up there. But I'm just going to remind everybody, if you're new to the hobby and you don't know about RPAs, this one picture sums it up. This one picture right here from Mark Ingram at a top signing event. And no, he's not that jacked. He had approximately 80 jerseys on at the same time. You see number 80 at the time was Jeremy Shockey. And this is how they get player-worn jerseys. I mean, I would imagine they're still doing it. They may even say, hey, you just have to touch this jersey in front of a Panini representative, and that's how we say it's player-worn. But as you guys know, I've cut open a card before that was like a veteran. I can't remember who, it was Matt Ryan or something, and the jersey was from a different player. from the Falcons. It was like not someone, it was like from a different player. So like the bottom line is the RPAs today are devalued unless it has a rookie auto. If you combine a rookie auto, you combine it with a serial number, you combine it with a premium brand like Spectra, like National Treasures, Flawless, Immaculate, then it adds value. But then people, knowing that it's not really player worn or from any specific game, wanted to have some stitching and some better coloring in it. Like this patch is going to do better than just a plain color patch. You know what I'm saying? So then it becomes like, how cool does the patch look? So that's really what you need to know when it comes to rookie patch autos. Now, if you go back to the Upper Deck Exquisite days, the beginning days of National Treasures, that's when you can get some game-worn stuff. Yeah. And then you want to look for blood stains, grass patches, and all that kind of stuff like Carter likes to get into, because that is the true RPAs right there.
That's what I do, baby. That's what I do. So
this cat's going crazy over here.
Oh, you have a cat?
Yeah, it's like telling, I don't know. It's just saying something about the RPAs.
Oh, don't go get your. This show has already been a calamity. Oh, I should have known you were a cat guy.
I know you're a dog guy. There's my cat, everybody.
Oh my God! I mean, look at this.
I know you brought your dog on stream before. I'm gonna let my cat run the podcast. Getting pissed off. I better let her go before she scratches me.
Dude, what kind of? It sounded more like a Tyrannosaurus Rex than a cat. I guess you could say you have cat scratch fever.
Almost. I almost got it. I had to let her go.
There you go. So basically, that's Andy telling you that the Cincinnati Bengals and the Jacksonville the Jaguars are a cat. Or is a jaguar a cat? Is that it? Yeah, that's a cat species, huh? Either way, it's basically Andy saying that all the teams that are cat related are turning this bad boy around this year. Roy says, can we forward more questions to me? If so, what is the email? Or to you, Andy? The best thing to do, Roy, and I'll do it. I'll take care of this for you. For constant support, not only from us, but our network of people, join the Football Card Discord, right? Especially if you're new, right? There's a bunch of new resources and stuff. And guess what? The first month you sign up, I'll cover your first month, man. $10. That's it. Basically, well, no, it's $7. Sign up down below, or you can go to footballcardquest.com and go premium, or patreon.com/footballcard. So Roy, sign up and then message me in the Discord, and I will send you a Venmo and cover your first month. That's the best way to get your questions answered. And Tim is in the Discord. I talk to Tim once a week in the Discord. He's become one of my really good friends. So there you go.
Yeah.
And that'll do it for us.
Discord's where it's at, baby.
Let's go. We'll talk to you next week. Peace out.
Peace out.